Bow, bow, bow. Dub in the chat. A W. Ah.
The 3 months ago, it appeared impossible for the Indiana Fever to do what they have just done. For the first time since 2015, they are currently 4 games over 500. They accomplished this without Caitlin Clark being on the ground. However, that is not the startling aspect. In a single game against Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings, they smashed 4 franchise records, despite everyone expecting them to suffer without their star player. However, this is something no one anticipated. The protagonists of this amazing tale are 2 players who weren't even on the roster at the beginning of the season. What were the 4 shattered records, then? Here's a clue. They included newbies Ari McDonald and Chloe BBY, as well as Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard. If you agree with the Fever, hit the like button and leave a comment that reads, "I have the Fever." Come on, let's go.
The 100 win over Phoenix. Stephanie White called that a big win. They were outstanding. Mitchell,
come on.
The former Dallas Wing, Natasha Howard.
Nobody was looking for this. We think Kelsey Mitchell's going to shoot, but that is the play to make right there. Nobody in the passing lane.
Without Caitlin Clark, everyone thought the Fever would go away, but instead something miraculous occurred. Imagine the following scene on August 1st. Due to a groin injury she sustained on July 15th, Clark will miss her 6th consecutive game. There is no schedule for her return. With Paige Beckers leading the charge and desperate for a victory after losing 8 of their previous 10 games, the Dallas Wings go to American Airlines Arena, home of the Mavericks. There was actual pressure. Without their star player leading the way, could the Fever maintain their winning streak?
Wins in a row, a season high. Just how have you been able to find that rhythm over this stretch?
I think it's been about, we've had some practices, and I think practicing has definitely tuned us up, fine-tuning as far as the details. We knew before All-Star that, the second half of the season is always about people making adjustments, people finding ways to stop what we have to do. And I think that on us, we try to do a good job of staying locked in at practices and shoot-arounds and all that kind of stuff to be where we need to be.
Everything you needed to know about the mindset of this Fever team was disclosed in the opening tip. They acted as though they had something to prove when they first appeared. There is no hesitation or waiting for someone else to assume command. This was not going to be a game about survival. This was intended to be a declaration. Kelsey Mitchell seized the reins at once. She established the tone that said, "We're not backing down," attacked the rim with purpose, and made confident shots. Mitchell led the team and took on the workload that Clark typically does, finishing with 23 points on 9 of 19 shots. She scored more goals than anyone else in the league during the whole month of July.
14 20-point games this season. In her 8th year, she also has a couple of 30s. And Mitchell trades the 3.
Now have a little bit of an advantage in the paint, and they need to keep doing that.
That time, Dejanay went for the steal, and Mitchell kept it away from her. Would not have taken that call so gently, shall we say. Now, Kalani Brown was her buffer last year. Is Mitchell all the way to the hole?
So you stick together, communicate on defense. This is a high-octane offensive team.
Beautiful pass. Mitchell was so sure of that. After she passed it, she started running down the other end.
But Paige Beckers, however, was not going to pass out. The rookie sensation responded with 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 22 points on 7 of 14 shooting. She demonstrated why she is regarded as a 3-level scorer in her maiden WNBA season by being the only Wings player to score in double figures. Fans were on the edge of their seats during the back-and-forth skirmish that resulted from this. However, this is where things start to get interesting. The stats from the free throws revealed a contentious tale. Indiana made 13 free throws, while Dallas made 25. That is nearly double. Immediately, fans took to social media to criticize the refereeing and accuse Beckers of making mistakes in order to get fouls. Following the game, even Wings head coach Chris Clains voiced his displeasure with the officiating staff.
Clock, game clock, almost the same. Carrington, the spin move. No foul called.
Flock is nearly identical. Carrington's spin maneuver. No foul call. DJ Jane Carrington was the true cause of the catastrophe. The player that is currently the most improved had a terrible performance. Only 5 turnovers and 4 points. Fans were shaking their heads when she dribbled up court and made a bad shot in the last minute of the third quarter. Her difficulties turned into a significant contributing factor to Dallas' disintegration.
Basket here, but you got to go up strong right there. Don't shy away from the defense because they will get out in transition. And Kelsey Mitchell doing what she does. Indiana up in Dallas.
The scoreboard showed Indiana up 88-78 as the final buzzer rang. With 4 players attempting to keep up, the Fever had just demonstrated that they are far more than Caitlin Clark. As coach Stephanie White admitted following the triumph, they demonstrated that they could win the games they were meant to win.
Finding ways to get wins, and that's going on some scoring bursts, that's being able to rely on multiple players, getting stops when needed, making adjustments and continuing to grow. I mean, this is a group that's been resilient all season long, and I think that we have such quality depth that we can rely on one another, and rely on one another in certain moments.
The Fever's hidden weapons are 2 players who weren't even on the roster 3 months ago. Introducing Aari McDonald and Chloe BBY, 2 unexpected mid-season acquisitions. These weren't big-name acquisitions. They weren't meant to make all the changes. They were insurance plans and depth moves for a squad attempting to maintain its competitiveness.
Stick to your defensive principles. This is an Indiana team that has very nimble on the offensive end.
McDonald from the outside rattles another 3. That's her 3rd of the ball.
The story of McDonald's sounds like it was written for a motion picture. At the beginning of the season, she was unsigned. Her services were not desired by any team. After being with the club for a few weeks on a hardship contract, the Fever phoned on June 25th with an offer for a contract for the remainder of the season. In this game against Dallas, she is leading the attack like she has all season long, scoring 15 points and dishing out 6 assists. This came right after her career-high performance against Phoenix the game before, where she showed she could handle bigger moments.
She should have looked up and said, "Oh, aren't you an all-star?"
Pass.
And Cunningham completes it.
That's what Indiana does better than anybody in the WNBA.
This is what made McDonald's unique that evening. Her instincts as a point guard came into play right away. She was adept at enlisting the help of teammates and knew when to pick up the pace. This was immediately apparent to Coach White, who noted that McDonald understood her impact on the game and had a point guard attitude. Because she stood up when the team most needed leadership, Kelsey Mitchell referred to her as a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with Aari is that she's dependable, and she's dependable not always for production, but she understands the impact that she can make in the game. And she understands how to do it, starting it on the defensive end, pushing pace, dictating tempo, getting to the rim, creating shots for her teammates, all of those things. And she's got an incredible awareness. And so she understands when she's hot, and she understands when somebody else is hot and how to get them the ball. But I've just been really proud to see her confidence grow in our system and the ownership that she's taking and being that leader on the floor for us.
Then there is Chloe BBY, who spoke out right away. She played a few minutes off the bench and made 2 important 3-pointers. Those shots weren't fortunate. They provided breathing room to the Fever by acting as precisely timed momentum builders. Other players were able to move around the floor because to Bibby's ability to stretch it. Coach White commended her rapid assimilation into the system, stating that she knew how to create plays and was prepared to shoot when the chance presented itself.
I'd say Boston, the rebound to Mitchell. McDonald splits the D. Bibby, this is where she's good. She can extend the defense, and she's done it.
For that nice jumper.
Beckers again, another double-digit game, 6 in the quarter. Here's Bibby, launches, buries the 3.
Bibby, don't do it like that.
But this is where things start to become very interesting, though. BBY got a contract for the remainder of the season after just 2 games with the team. In those few minutes, the Fever saw enough to decide to commit to her for the rest of the season. She highlighted a particular need that White had pointed up, pointing out that we haven't had BBY's shooting skills and that she is a stretch forward.
You signed Chloe Bibby to a rest of season contract today. Just what impressed you about her on that 7-day and those 2 games she played in?
Well, number one, just the way that she fit in right away. She gives us a different look from that forward position with her ability to stretch the floor. And particularly in 2 games where we really needed to create space for AB to go to work inside, she was able to do that for us. She came in and she learned the system right away. It just was such an easy transition, and she's produced.
The Fever's greatest winning record since 2015 was determined by these 2 unknowns. McDonald gave them the much-needed point guard leadership. The entire offense was made possible by the floor spacing that BBY offered them. Because these guys grasped their jobs right away and performed without hesitation, Coach White's system worked. The Fever were no longer merely getting by without Clark. Because players like McDonald and BBY filled roles they weren't initially signed for, they were succeeding. However, they weren't the only ones who made history that evening. As everyone kept their eyes on the scoreboard, the Fever were quietly setting franchise-first records history. In a single night, 4 distinct accomplishments took place. These performances weren't just good. These were historic events that changed the scope of what this group was capable of. This is the first one that took everyone by surprise. Aaliyah, the first ever WNBA teammates to record at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals in a single game were Boston and Natasha Howard. Take a moment to consider that. No 2 teammates had ever combined to reach such totals in a single night in the WNBA's history. Boston recorded 3 steals, 1 block, 5 assists, 12 points, and 11 rebounds. With 11 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block, Howard equaled her.
Watch the attention Boston gets. Opens up a lot for the guards. Here's Boston. Beckers had nothing she could do. No rebound Howard. That's rebound number 9 to go along with her 9 points. Beautiful dish inside to Boston.
What we'll do is share the basketball here. Just a little dump down to Boston.
Hey, Carrington rolls to the hole. Howard with a rejection.
To the basket here, but you got to go up strong right there.
Let's
focus
on
spin,
Howard's
tough
16
finish on a
rebounds
really
in
good
particular.
defender.
For her, it was a career high. She dominated the boards as if she were competing against athletes from high school. Boston's 11 rebounds helped her extend her double-double streak to 5 games. Although she has been reliable throughout the season, this performance shown that she could step up when the team most needed her.
That pass outside to Howard.
Oh,
Boston
wow.
at the basket, foul on Haley Jones.
It is not a move her out geographically away from the lane to get her off the basket. Tough rebound there.
Geisel shooter's going to come out. Lee Yu-Ru will check into the...
That's not all, though. Following the All-Star break, Kelsey Mitchell now leads the WNBA in the most 20-point games. She scored 23 points against Dallas, her 13th game with 20 points or more this season. Even when other players falter, Mitchell's consistent scoring threat keeps this attack going.
The 100 win over Phoenix. Stephanie White called that a big win. They were outstanding. Mitchell,
Come on.
the former Dallas wing, Natasha Howard.
Nobody was looking for this. We think Kelsey Mitchell's going to shoot, but that is the play to make right there. Nobody in the passing lane.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Chloe BBY set a franchise record by hitting multiple three-pointers in each of her first 3 games with a Fever. Those 2 three-pointers she knocked down weren't just nice shots. They made history. No other Fever player had ever started their tenure with the team by hitting multiple threes in their first 3 appearances. The 4th record belongs to Aary McDonald. She became the 3rd fastest player in Fever history to reach 150 points and 50 assists. The only players ahead of her on that list are Caitlin Clark and Tama Catchings. That's elite company for someone who wasn't even on the roster 3 months ago. McDonald's ability to score and facilitate has been crucial in filling the point guard role.
For us, when we get a chance to really put ourselves in a position to, win games, we got to win them. I think any competitor knows that when we say win them. And I think we took some time off, we had a little drop off today, and I think that's what she's talking about. It was inconsistent. I think we could have been a little bit better.
This wasn't luck, as evidenced by the 4 records in a single night. This was a team discovering who they were and demonstrating what they could do with everyone's help. They possessed unprecedented front court supremacy thanks to the Boston-Howard combo. Mitchell delivered the reliable scoring blow. BBY instantly expanded the floor. The big fireworks happened after the final buzzer, but McDonald led the offensive like a pro.
Obviously, Ari, you only joined this team mid-season, officially on a full contract now. Congratulations. But just the impact that Ari has had overall, how do you feel like?
Oh, it's unbelievable. This is our blessing in disguise. We always tell her that we appreciate her seriously.
The subtle message that Fever supporters had been hoping to hear was included in Kelsey Mitchell's post-game remarks. Following their historic victory, the locker room was a hive of activity. After setting 4 records in a single night, the players were still feeling great. Mitchell approached the microphones with assurance that came through in every word she said. Despite her remarks seeming innocence, there was something more sinister going on. When some players weren't available, Mitchell commended her teammates for stepping up and taking their places. She emphasized Ari McDonald's contributions in particular, stating, "This is our blessing in disguise." When you take into account the recent roster changes, the phrase sounds different.
Season was all over the place, obviously, with, the people that was on the team, the people that wasn't on the team, injury, Tutu not being around as much with her injuries, and just, it takes a lot for a pro to step up and, be where her feet is and step and fill in shoes that, not a lot of people expect. And I think for Ari, she compliments myself, all the other players so well because she just gets it as far as knowing where people are, knowing the chemistry. And I think for us to her, we have to make sure that we keep patting her on the back because this is a big position to fill, and I think that she's doing it unbelievably well. So, shout out to you, Ari.
Love it.
This is when things start to get interesting. Mitchell made a sly jab at Dana Bonner's exit from the team when he said that McDonald was a blessing in disguise. Earlier in the season, Bonner experienced a fever wave, which allowed them to sign Chloe BBY and retain McDonald. Mitchell expressed gratitude for the new elements, implying that the crew felt freed following the modifications. "We always tell her that we appreciate her seriously because our season was all over the place and it takes a lot for a pro to step up," she said, delving deeper into McDonald's influence. Follow her lead and fill in the gaps that few people anticipate. This was not merely McDonald's appreciation. With the new roster structure, Mitchell was realizing how much better the team camaraderie had gotten. Coach Stephanie White highlighted how the team's us versus the world approach was really paying off. White's emphasis on perseverance and conquering obstacles served as the cornerstone of this team's identity. The athletes really embraced this way of thinking. They had a chip on their shoulder when they first started playing, which helped them win on the court. After the game, players discussed candidly how their competitive edge and chemistry had improved. They walked and played together with a sense of freedom. There was a change in the energy. Their dedication to one another appeared to be stronger. These weren't only platitudes after winning a battle. This group overcame hardship to discover who they were.
And I asked Kelsey in regards to, or about this, but Ari, just the impact that she's had for you all this season. What do you like most about what you've seen from her thus far?
No, number one, her energy. I mean, she is, she's an energy giver. She's fast. Her speed changes the game for us. Her ability to get the ball from one end to the other quickly. Her ability to get into players defensively. She changes the game for us in that way. I have continued to be impressed with just how quickly she immersed herself, into our team and fit in right away.
The enthusiasm was heightened by the expectation of Clark's return. Imagine the return of their celebrity to this record-breaking group. When she returns to the lineup, the chemistry they developed without her will only grow stronger. Mitchell and the other members of the team are aware that they have demonstrated something significant throughout this run. The Fever were no longer merely winning matches. They were creating a brand that would help them advance far into the postseason. Nobody anticipated how well the parts fit together. Better balance was produced by the roster changes. The players fully accepted their responsibilities. Furthermore, 2025 appears to be more promising than anyone had anticipated, with Clark returning to join this revamped squad. This Fever squad just demonstrated that they are more than just Caitlin Clark, plus 4 athletes attempting to stay up. They are a serious threat for a title with depth that no one anticipated. In a single night, 4 records were broken. The third fastest player in team history to reach 150 points and 50 assists is Aari McDonald. Chloe BBY's first 3 games saw her break shooting records. Together, Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard are creating WNBA history. The WNBA had best pay attention to Clark's return to join this record-breaking club. Without her, the bond they developed will only become stronger. For Indiana, the best is still to come, and 2025 may be the year that everything changes. If you agree with the Fever, leave a remark below that reads, "I've got the Fever." Turn on all notifications, like, and subscribe to ensure you don't miss anything.